So in this video I'll be looking at 10 maples and asking the question, would they have survived if I'd have repotted them? Hi there maple fans, and in this series of videos I'll be sharing what I do throughout an entire year on a monthly basis. Please note that these months are based on UK timings, but of course can easily be adapted to anywhere else in the world. So right at the beginning of May I bought 10 Japanese maples from a company called Bartholomew's in Dorset in the UK and decided not to repot them like I may have otherwise done, but to keep them in their original technical pots. I also decided to surround them in these little pots outside, the white ones with stones in, to add some weight but maintain drainage. So we'll start with a glance over the trees again. I think you may be able to see that some trees have grown a little bit, some trees have grown substantially. So in terms of the thickness of the trunks, in terms of the leaves, there's quite a difference. But the question we should ask, of course, is not really whether the top of the tree is grown, but it's how the roots are developed, because a developed root system is what will really protect and provide sustenance over the winter period. So they've already gone through most of the sort of autumn growth spurt, so now's a good chance to take a look. And just to say, if you'd like to come with me on my Acer journey, please do like and subscribe to my little channel, it really helps. I've also recently set up a Patreon site, so that's a great way of supporting me too, and help out with some of the costs of my excursions really. There's also the offer of some personal help, if you'd like it, either in a group format or at a one-to-one basis. So the first one to have a look at is Ariadne here. Lovely little tree, looking very healthy. They all look healthy to me. We have to have a reasonable expectation at this end of the season. They're not going to be leaf perfect. That's the point. They're deciduous trees, which means they drop the leaves every year and grow new ones. But interesting to see how some are developing, and also the odd one there on the right has got quite a lot of autumnal colour, because this is where the trees are actually drawing the nutrients back from their leaves again to get ready and store energy for the autumn. So having a quick look at the base there, the graft point's looking very good, and taking it out of the pot we just have a mass of roots. Now that is not a bad decision, that's how we want them really, and this tree I wouldn't be repotting now, no way at all. That's a really good situation to be in, and it's going to offer really good insulation and protection over the winter months, so nothing wrong there. And yes, definitely next March, late March, we'll be having a look at that and repotting it again, because only one or two sizes, but that's definitely worth a repot. So next in line we have Shishi Gashira, which is a tree that always remarkably looks like its adult tree. Even the small versions kind of look like mini bonsais of the larger ones really. What we can see here though is that the compost in the pot is actually quite low, and was when I bought it. This is ideal because really this is a pretty slow going tree, and I can tell that from my sort of bigger version of it. But what we can see there is the graft points looking really good. There's lots of root development at the bottom in terms of like root flare, but the tree itself is actually quite small and retains its small structure, but is perfectly healthy. So what that's telling me is if I'd have put that into a larger pot, I really don't think it would do it any good whatsoever. It doesn't really need all the compost it's already in. The 1 litre of compost it was provided is absolutely fine, but there's definitely new growth on the tree. It's looking healthy. I really can't see a problem with this tree at all. So while looking at Shishi Gashira, I wouldn't be pulling that out of its pot. I know that wouldn't end well, because it's really very tiny. Here we move on to another example of Laura's Dwarf, only available from the place I bought this from in Dorset actually, so that's kind of a nice thing to have because it's fairly unique. But looking at it, we can see the graft point again is doing perfectly well, and for those new to this, that will over time merge completely into one. You can just about see where the original rootstock has been severed, just at the top there, so that would have grown off in that direction, and then after about a year of growth of it being grafted to the rootstock, that original tree has been chopped off, and we're left with a very known good cultivar with a great root system. So let's have a look. This is the proof of the pudding really. Perfectly good root development. Whether that's going to be ready for next year, I think so probably. But that would only be a definite sort of one pot up, or almost being put into a ceramic pot of virtually the same size, I guess. Wouldn't want to overpot that. And again, when we come back to that in March next year, it's going to look pretty much the same. So it's a good time to review at this point. So what we've got coming actually is a tree that I should definitely not have extracted from its pot. Bit of a nightmare really, but we'll come to that. But if you look at this tree here, a very similar scenario, really clear that the original rootstock has died back there. That's absolutely fine because the graft point is established. Tree's doing really well. Worth noting that in this Villa Taranto, firstly the labels come off because, so that's something to perhaps watch. I'm not sure how that happened, but how strange. But you can see on these sort of linear lobum trees that the end of the leaves can get a bit crispy. I suspect it's just that the water sort of can't permeate quite to the end of the leaves, and also they're subject to a bit more evaporation because they're so fine, I guess. But overall looking quite good. Just noting that the trees are off to one side in the pot there, so that's a flag for next year when I repot it to use the opportunity to move the tree slightly to one side so it's going to be more central in the pot and just a bit more aesthetically pleasing really. So just having a tug and a pull at that one, I'm trying not to lift the whole pot out, and I'm not doing that because you can just about see there's too much movement in the compost. It's not all moving as one job lot, so just a gentle test there, but that's one to leave well alone. So with the previous tree, I'd be very reluctant to repot, maybe even next year. There's absolutely no reason why I can't leave them be for another year, to be honest. It's really important that these trees develop that root system. They drive the whole energy of the tree. They're going to help it uptake moisture in the summer. It's almost better to have a better root system than it is the top of the tree, bizarrely. What you can see on this one, though, is a really nice bit of late sort of summer growth, autumn growth, really, almost. Nice little variation in colours. Yes, of course, again, some of the ends of the leaves are a bit curled. Doesn't matter whatsoever, really. And this tree's doing really well. And you can see there that the rootstock colour there is rather different to the actual cultivar type. So that will never quite merge in and look quite as neat as some trees. But having a known cultivar is a really good idea. This is a perfect candidate for repotting next year. Again, not this year. This is not the right time. But I just know that come late spring again, we'll be repotting that one, and that's going to do really well. So another cultivar, another candidate here, Satsuka Beni, and just looking initially at this tree, it's really quite a different proposition. It's a lot finer, it's not subtler. Aren't the leaves lovely though? They're just big and fat and huge really. A bit more Asakazuki like for those that know their cultivars. But doing really well, absolutely fine. As you can see, again, we've got a little bit of coloration at the end of the leaves there. That's fine. That probably will extend backwards, actually, and develop the leaf colour over time at this point. But doing perfectly well, quite okay. Again, I'm not going to take that one out of its pot because I don't think it's developed enough to really warrant doing that. So this cultivar has kind of two known names, which is absolutely fine. And looking at this one, again, a rather different proposition. There's a rather slightly messy sort of join there between the rootstock and the main tree. But if you look at that as a proposition, it's completely different. Much bigger in size. You can actually see the growth habit as well. So another advantage of leaving the trees in the pots for a year, which is a great tip, is you can actually start to see whether they're going to go upright or sideways. You start to get an idea about what the proposition will be, so you can plan for the future in terms of both pot size and location and what your thoughts are about the ideal position for that tree is. So look at that new growth, absolutely fantastic, and in great contrast really to the main growth from the spring. That's a really good example of having sort of late summer growth, to be honest. A really important point here is, though, I will not be feeding these trees at all. I mean, I actually feed them once in March with a slow release fertiliser, but no way would I recommend at this stage. It's nearly September now. It's feeding trees because you really don't want them to grow too much into the winter period and sort of die back over the winter. So this little fella here, nice looking tree. There's quite a bit of a flare on the roots there, which we'll come back to. Broadish leaves, nice little spread. Again, we can start to see a habit developing, which is really nice to see. But quite fine branches. Not worried about this. It's the leaves have done their job at this point. They've been photosynthesizing all season. Really important to note, these have been under a canopy. They've been in shade the entire season, the whole of the summer really. That's important. These trees aren't hardy yet. I wouldn't put new trees of any cultivar in full sun initially. It just doesn't warrant it. So we have a little play and a dig with that one. There we go. Yeah, the root system kind of mirrors the top of the tree. That's going to be excellent. That's going to winter really well. I'm not saying the other ones won't winter, by the way. There's still roots internally. That's absolutely fine. But we know that next spring that's going to do ever so well, really. So we don't need to, make a note of that, I suppose. We can do this again come late March, and that's absolutely fine. But looking at it, another good example of a tree that's done well based on the fact it was looked after in the first year or the first season of its growth. So here we have another tree with a really interesting variegated leaves. You can just see on the graph point there, sort of the stem again of the original cultivar. But aren't these leaves fantastic? Really interesting, variegated. Many of them are in quite good condition actually at this point, which is fine. Going up to the top there, you can start to sort of get an idea of the size of this tree. So the top of it is really quite developed, I guess. Looks quite mature. Love the way that there's a twist in the stem there. That's looking great. So let's have a sort of dig and a delve. Let's see what's going on below, having a look at the root system, and let's see if that kind of mirrors the overall look of the tree, to be honest, because that's what's important. It'd be very tempting just to look at this tree and go, that's it, that will be repotted next year. Earmark that one, because that's kind of what it looks like at first appearances. So we'll give that a bit of a tug and look at that. Actually, the root system is okay, it's perfectly all right, but it hasn't actually gone down and kind of got into that compost at the bottom. So it just shows you that, without a bit more analysis, without a bit of being careful about this, then this is the mistakes you can make. So up to now, some of the ones with a great root system, I could have repotted, they would have done fine, they could have been sitting in a slightly bigger pot and done okay over this winter. But the point I'm making is, don't prejudge it. If you can wait and leave these in a pot over their first season, even better. Of course, you can put that into these technical pots into a ceramic pot. You could put some bark on the top of that. You could conceal the fact that it's in a plastic pot at the end of the day, so it looks aesthetically nice. But yes, I think being really conservative in the repotting stages will pay dividends, to be honest. So this is a cultivar Tamukiyama, which I've killed before. I make mistakes sometimes. I've overpotted one of these and it's not ended well. So as you can see, it's actually doing brilliantly in the pot it's in. Look at all that new growth, that's doing great. But overall, this isn't a rapid grower. It just doesn't warrant an increase in pot size. And keeping the pot small and keeping those roots protected really, really benefits these dissectums, particularly because they are slow growing. So dissectums, the dwarf varieties, even more important to keep them in an undersized pot. So we've said it before, but I think this is more evidence, proof of the pudding. Keep your pot size small, leave them in their original pots for a whole season, maybe two, and it'll really pay dividends.